We are back with Patrick Westervelt, a health and fitness specialist with Cone Health, Sagewell Health and Fitness. And he's talking to us about how we can create an exercise routine in 2025 that works for you. So once we started exercising, right, I know motivation is key. So what are some ways to keep motivated throughout the entire year, not just this first, month when we're all like gung-ho?
I always suggest to people, like, first and foremost, just getting dressed to exercise is a good way to succeed. If you're coming into the health and fitness center, just walk through the doors. We're never going to discourage you from coming in. I think that getting friends and family to come with you is a big way to do it, because exercising is a social, event. And so making sure that you are establishing a certain time, because then when you have your friends and families relying on you, you're going to end up letting them down. And I think that comes frequently from a lot of team efforts, like a team sport driven mentality. You don't want to let your team down. Same thing with fitness today, whether it's in June or whether it's even in January right now.
Yeah, accountability for sure. All right, so what are some small ways maybe that we can fit exercise into a busy day?
I'm a big proponent. I'm really advocate for stepping away from your screen for a little bit each hour. And that's a great way that you could start. If you're already at work and you need to take a screen break, you can incorporate, okay, I'm going to spend 30 seconds doing some body weight squats. I'm going to spend 30 seconds just doing some heel raises, whatever it is. But just taking the time to step away and disconnect from the screens. Even if you're at home on the couch watching TV, you can take a second. A commercial break would be perfect, and you can just do a small set of exercise that might have a big impact over time if you continue to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it gets your blood moving for sure. I'm sure that clears your mind as well when you're physically moving.
Definitely.
Okay.
It just, everything will feel better.
All right, so if people have like a health challenge or maybe they have a previous injury, what are some approaches to getting active again that are safe for them?
I think that's one thing that Sagewell Health and Fitness here at Cone Health really stands out with, because we have outpatient therapy on our fitness floor, and we have an emergency department downstairs if things are not going well. But we also have a good team that really will help you get the tools you need to succeed based on what's happening in your personal life.
I liked what you said at the beginning about we should get active with whatever we will do to make us active. But as we go through like this year, do we need to mix up the workouts or add variety?
Definitely. I always say our body is really good at finding shortcuts as humans. We get really good at a certain range of motion and utilizing, we can overload it even though we aren't as strong as that weight might be. So I always like the saying, get uncomfortable, right? Try the new things with some support and make sure you know what you're doing, and really throw that body off of its usual everyday established pattern.
Okay. And let's talk about maybe giving some advice about someone who's maybe feeling maybe intimidated about starting the fitness journey. They feel like they're just, way out of shape and they just don't even know where to start.
Yeah, I think that that's always a pretty frequent question, and it just starts with that first step. Like, even if you're just walking, it starts with that first step of coming in and asking for help. We often prescribe just about 4 machines that are going to help the individual walk through. And then after about 3 weeks, we add a few more and a couple more, and it depends person to person, but really just getting comfortable with coming in, establishing that routine. And over time, you're going to start to look back and you're going to be like, I have a whole workout plan. What happened?
Right.
So just getting in the door.
That's right. Yeah, it's not overwhelming to think that you have to know every single machine or every single thing in the workout. All right. I think that a lot of times people think that exercise is a punishment for all the things that we eat and that kind of stuff, instead of feeling like it is a reward for our body being able to do something.
Yeah, I think that calories are often counted misappropriately. I think that there's a lot to unpack there based on society standards, what we see in social media a lot of times. But I think from my perspective, is exercise is medicine. And I think that from that, what we can get is we can make our bodies feel better, because we will be stronger and we'll be more flexible. We'll have better endurance, better stamina, all that fun stuff. And, I always say the more you come into the health and fitness center, or the more you're physically active, the more calories your body takes just to even lay in bed all day, even if you weren't physically active. So it's a twofold process.
Okay. All right, we got about a minute left. You got any final thoughts on the importance of staying on track with exercise for a healthier you?
I think that, especially with it being January, one of the biggest things that people do is they're very active and then it gets a little uncomfortable because they haven't been active for the previous year. Just stick with it. Trust the process. You know, you're in this moment. It might not feel the most comfortable, but I want to say that long term, you're really going to get to a place where A, it becomes just a repeated behavior that you just do, a good habit. But B, also, I think that you're paying dividends to future self because you'll be able to do more things that you've always wanted to do as you go through the years.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We thank you for your time and your expertise. If you missed any of this, maybe you want to pass it along to somebody else to encourage them, you can find it in the To Your Wellbeing section of WFNYnews2.com.